Hi everybody, welcome to the stream for the 23rd of February, and welcome to the new setup that we have here for the stream. I think it's pretty snazzy, and yes. So the stream today will be looking at the SD to SNES, which is a flash cart for the Super Nintendo that is incredibly versatile. I'm playing on the Super NT, and what's interesting about that in particular for this stream is that the Super NT is an FPGA console, and the SD to SNES is at least partially an FPGA based flash cart. So there's like two layers now of hardware simulation going on, which is just a little bit interesting. So let's bring up the screen though and get into playing some interesting games, and we have plenty. So I spent last night sort of workshopping the audio and the audio balance, so hopefully it sounds pretty good. But as always, we'll figure it out as time goes on, I guess. So let's get into it. We have quite a few options here. The entire U.S. and I think international library of games. We got some unlicensed stuff, which I'm sure will be fun to look at, and then this is particularly interesting. So let's start with some unlicensed stuff, because I was actually surprised at how well it played this. And I guess we'll do Aladdin 2000. So, of course, I think we're all familiar at this point with the famous NES Aladdin bootleg. That was based on the Super Nintendo game. Here we have a Super Nintendo bootleg that's based on a Genesis game, and is definitely of a much lower quality. Though this is kind of a neat effect that they pulled off there. So, call me crazy, but I think maybe this is using at least an engine that's very similar to that horrible Pokemon engine that seems to be used in 95% of SNES games. Oh, that's fun. How did I do that? I wasn't... Huh. Fascinating. Because of the way that the screen pans down to the start, seems like, well, it reminds me of Pokemon, which is also on here in multiple different versions, including the ones with the copy protection that makes it act weird. Look at that. You know, the music isn't actually terrible. Probably the best part of this. And, you know, the graphics are also pretty good. I mean, it's clear that the Disney oversight that probably existed with the Genesis version, it wasn't exactly here, because Aladdin's walk cycle is kind of bad. But as far as like stealing the graphics from the Genesis version, I mean, they're nice looking. But as far as I can tell, now having messed with Super Nintendo bootlegs quite a bit more, is that there's basically two. There's two that have been reused multiple times, and as different games, quote unquote. There's the fighting game engine, and then there's the platforming engine. And like I said, this does feel slightly different than those other platformers, but I don't know, it's got the same sort of telltale signs. The biggest one being that it doesn't play all that good. Also, kind of the way the enemies pop in and out. Actually, not even entirely sure what I'm supposed to be doing, I just realized. I played quite a bit of the Super Nintendo version. While I own the Genesis game, not a huge fan. I know this isn't really like a controversial opinion at this point, but I kind of feel that the Super Nintendo game is the better version. What is this? What is this? Huh? Do I gotta... What's this guy do? What? What's this move? I just realized that the X button does something. It makes him look up. But it doesn't let you look up. So it's just this ridiculous animation. Also, jump is on Y, which is pretty awful. Hey, look at that! Kind of uncomfortable to look at. Okay. Well, I'll say it's interesting. And it is a game. But like the problems with momentum and jumping and playing the game are here as always. So I don't know. This might be the best one though. We'll look at some other ones. It's definitely the best Disney related SNES bootleg I've played. To my knowledge, there's only one other one. So let's go take a look at that, actually. Move back to the menu here. And we'll look at A Bug's Life. Now, whereas with Aladdin, it was not exactly obvious if it's based on that Pokemon engine, this one definitely is. And it's obvious for a number of reasons. For starters, you have the music. But more obviously is the actual gameplay. And there you got those classic sound effects. So this one's gimmick or whatever is that some evil person thought what those Digimon and Pokemon games were missing was more run and jump segments. So as far as I can tell, all the major jumps you have to clear in this game require running and jumping, which is not the strong suit of this engine at all. And you also kind of have to get like a real good amount of distance. Shoot. The momentum's very interesting. Ah, man. I just realized the icon up in the top left-hand corner is kind of disturbing. So we'll just try and see how far we can jump without trying to run. You know, kind of get an idea of the issue here. So yeah. You also have a weapon, which you can use by pressing X. Whoa. Why is he doing that? Stop. There we go. Ugh. Not that the enemies are what you need to really worry about. It's the horrible jump you have. And it really is the worst jump in any platform game ever, possibly. You'd be hard-pressed to find one that's worse, anyway. Like, amongst bootlegs, this is a real bad one. Also based on one of the less good Pixar films from what I remember, anyway. Don't remember watching Bug's Life that much as a kid. Also, just an interesting choice for a game. How are you supposed to get up there? Oh, that. It's actually incredible how small a jump you have, where you can just barely get onto these really standard-looking platforms. I mean, in the other games that use this engine, your jump's floaty, but at least it's gets a fair amount of height. Look in the top left corner. Oh, at the icon? Yeah. It's creepy. For some reason, I thought I mentioned that, actually. Exactly. Oh, darn. I got a game over. Yeah, but the controls are just awful. They really do make it almost unplayable. But that's Bug's life. What else we got here? Maybe we'll play this one. Now, I think that this is just a simple graphics hack. And I want to say it's by the Twin Eagles group, which was, I think, based in Brazil. And they released a lot of more intense graphics hacks for the SNES. And this is one of them. Bananas Day Pajamas, which is a show I remember very vaguely from my childhood. Oh, here we go. I was gonna say the controls weren't working. That was kind of weird. So here's Banana in Pajama. I don't know if I said it yet, but I believe this is based on Chester Cheetah's Too Cool to Fool, which was a game based on the Cheetos mascot. And I don't know how much is different from that version. Looks like a SpongeBob character. But I think it suffices to say that, as far as I know, this is not what Bananas in Pajamas was ever about. Alright. Guess we need to jump on. No, can't do that. I got some item in my top left-hand corner, I think. I collected something. What is it? Pressing all the buttons. Can't go in the water either. Is there also no run button? Whoa. Oh my god. Okay. Whoa. How is this fair now? What the heck? Alright. So what you had to do was press a direction, then press right, or hold the right trigger, R button. What's happening now? What is... Don't do that. This game is nonsense. The graphics are kind of nice, though. Don't look at me like that, banana. Alright. Oh no. The banana in pajama is dead. Well, that was something. Kind of difficult. We've of course played Digimon Adventure before. I don't think these main bootlegs work, so we'll skip those. How about Football Argentino 96? I want to say this is whoa. Hi there, Anthrax. Something you don't really see that often anymore is the people who ripped its logo at the start. unless that's the developer. I want to say that this was also a Twin Eagles group release. That group, I think, also did some weird NES porting stuff. That Anthrax thing that we saw at the start. There's a few of those on here. Was that a 6 instead of a G? Whoa. Graphics. Wow. Yeah, this is a lot more impressive than I expected it to be. Amistoso, Liga Corta, Guia hasta seis jugadores, solo exhibition match. Let's do that. 1 versus CPU. Hurricane. St. Lorenzo. We'll play against them, I guess. Too many menu options now. Let's just get into it. This is a nice looking game. If it is based on another one, I mean, the job they did of hacking it was at the very least impressive. Oh, that's not me. Oh. What? Whoa. Okay. Is that me? That is me. I am very knowledgeable about this sport. I don't know much about soccer, but I know that the announcers are typically very enthusiastic. Seems I got that right. Oh, there's even a replay function, so I can watch my defeat all over again. Nice touch. Okay, this is me. Get away from me, guy. It's just that's how they do it. I have no skill for this sort of thing. In life or in virtual. Or in fake. I think we've seen enough. But this is fairly impressive, actually. And soccer fan. Oh, that was kind of cool. That wasn't so much. Okay. Enough of that. But yeah, a pretty impressive thing there. And I assume this is its sequel, which added the E. People were really asking for that. This game doesn't work, so we'll have to skip that. Let's play actually, how about X-Men vs. Street Fighter? The genesis of the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Here on Super Nintendo, for the first time, unofficially. This one was one I was really excited to see is compatible with the SD2SNES. And then my excitement was kind of diminished after messing around with the engine for a couple seconds. Let's do Ken vs. Wolverine. So the biggest problem is that it is really sluggish and hard to control and is bad. Sometimes it's not obvious that the buttons actually have any effect whatsoever. and I would never even want to begin trying to figure out how to use any of these special moves. You can pull off Hadoukens, I want to say, like, sort of reliably. Like, oh, whoa. Actually, kind of pulled something off there real quick. What? Really? Ugh. So I guess I was able to pull off the special when I was trying to do a Hadouken. So I guess that means that the button combinations are probably the same. It's just really hard to execute like regular moves. There we go. Wolverine's kind of short. Ugh. Anyway, it just doesn't play very well. It plays worse than it looks, I guarantee you. I actually think, you know, like, Ken's face there obviously looks real dumb. And, I mean, the characters don't look great in a lot of the bigger sprite stuff. Like, so let's reset real quick. Like, here at the start, Ryu looks really dumb. Cyclops looks a little bit better, but they both look dumb. Trust me, though, in comparison, this is like Da Vinci stuff, because the gameplay is so bad. I mean, there are some nice things. It has there's some idle animations, and that's about all I can say about it, really. It's really choppy, and it plays horribly. Definitely cannot recommend. And I've played a lot of bad fighting games in my time, I want to say, but this is probably the worst. Man, thought I had it there, but it's not the last. There's more. We'll take a look at another one, I guess. There's Tekken 2. And these all essentially run on the same kind of engine. Like the 3D sampled model thing going on here. Really? I think I played the Genesis version of this on stream not too long ago. That's kind of a nifty effect. But yeah, this one might be slower and more clunky. It doesn't help that I really don't know anything about Tekken. Wow. What can I say about this one? Something that's consistently let me down is the I was able to pull off a couple moves there before the round even started. I was able to get into second gear early. Todd Rogers. Oh man, I'm doing really bad at this. What was that? Oh boy. Kazuya's? All their portraits are kind of creepy. You're right. That one's... yeah. These two are the most uncomfortable. Play one other character. Thing is, it seems like all these characters play pretty much the same. I mean, the games play slightly differently. Like, this one is noticeably worse than the last one we played. which was already awful. But like within the games, it seems like basically there's no difference between the characters. It's just cosmetic. One thing you gotta give the NES fighting games is at the very least, they're, for the most part, pretty fast-paced. I think the only exception to that is, I want to say it was called Fighting Hero. It was a game based on the first Street Fighter, which is unbearably slow and also plays terribly. But a lot of the other games on NES, they're fast, especially the Hummer Team stuff, and it's pretty good. Big letdown, because, I mean, the 16-bit generations are so well known for their fighting games, too. Actually, King of Fighters, I think this is a crossover fighting game as well. Maybe we should look at this one. There's Vega, or, what's his name? M. Bison in America. There's Ryu. And Cyclops. DVS Electronics. I think this might be the first one to actually have their logo on it, though I think they were responsible for most of these. Oh, let's turn that down to easy. Maximu? I can't turn it on, so I guess it'll stay off. Oh, there we go. Maximu is on. Cammy. So in this game, there's like the main characters and the zombie version of those characters. So let's be zombie Ryu. Oh wait, yeah, you get a team. Okay. And I think this guy's name is Terry Bogard. Where's Cyclops? There he is. And we'll be fighting Zombie Terry, regular Ryu. Oh, my bad, Trey. So, this one actually seems to be playing a little bit better. The controls kind of remind me of Top Fighter 2000, which had a kind of similarly ridiculous cast. The big addition there, of course, though, was Michael Jordan. Oh wow, I can actually beat this one. Are you familiar with DVS's work? I really am not too much, aside from the Pokemon stuff. At least I think that was them. So yeah, I think much like Top Fighter, the game's pretty easy if you just do this one crouching kick move. So the hard thing to find is a balance with these games. You either make them too easy like this, or you make them unbelievably difficult, like the previous ones we played. I do wonder if this is using a different engine, or at least a very heavily altered one. Oh wait, that wasn't Ken. It was Andy. Don't know that character. trying to do something fancy there. Let's not. That's my new strategy. Then again, I did reduce the difficulty here, so maybe that's really what's happening. Wow. You even finished him in a cool way. Oh, right into the next one. Okay. I was kind of hoping there would be some sort of victory screen where they said something ridiculous. What else we got? What is this? Soul Edge versus Samurai. DVS Electronic Company. Oh. This is another fighting game. Looks like it's most similar to the Street Fighter versus X-Men thing. Well, I mean, it's quicker. My character's name is Nicotine. That's something. Well, this... At least it's fast. I'll give it that. It's important. I think we've seen it. Okay, is there anything else worth looking at from... Well... Soul Blade. Doesn't work. Or does it? I'm gonna say it probably doesn't. Okay. Looks like that's our first power down. That's a great point link. Let's look at Pokemon Stadium. So this is not a fighting game, not an RPG, not even a Pokemon battle simulator really. It's its own thing. Let's be Dogas. Pekag, Thund, Hudden, Genga, Dugut, Moo. Let's be Dogas. It's Dogas versus Dugut. The battle of the century. Okay. So you like charge up this meter and then you get to do an attack. How do I charge up my meter? Evade confrontation. What is Super Big 2? Well, how do I play this? Okay, this isn't working at all. I don't know what Super Big 2 is, Tom. Oh, hold down. Because I'm getting wrecked by Daggett here. I will use rolling attack. The animations are kind of funny. Drill the land. Hooray. I will use Venom attack. Here we go, this is the big comeback. I don't know what I even did there. I don't know, by far the most interesting part of this game is just the animations and the silly names for the characters. Black gas. That's something. I don't know how interested I am in really continuing to play this. That's one that I should probably review at some point, but yeah. It's really just kind of basic and not all that interesting. You said Super Big 2. 1 second. Now, I played a little bit of I played a couple homebrews on here, and some questionable content is in some of these games, so I'm just going to start up the game, but first, briefly, some poker game, which is actually not a good sign. Oh, that music. It doesn't sound like good news. Just says Big 2. I was right. There is a woman who is not in clothing on the title screen, and we won't be playing that. I don't know what it was, just the name Super Big 2. I was worried. Okay. How about some Pocket Monsters? This Pikachu one, I mean, is assumedly the same game, but the copy protection doesn't work with the SD to SNES, so it just does that famous scrolling ash screen. I guess we can look at it. It's probably a scene familiar to many people familiar with emulation in playing Super Nintendo games on emulation. In the early days especially. I don't know if this issue has been fixed at this point or what. But it's worth noting that this isn't emulation, this is a hardware solution. There he is, but we can press the start button now. Oh wait, no, it just goes through an animation, I guess. Pocket Monster. DVS Electronic. Oh, you can't give yourself more lives. Yep, it's already on baby settings, so go for it. In the forest. Oh boy. That nightmare music that these games are so known for. This one in particular. Just a really bad soundtrack. Horrible jumping. I guess Aladdin really was the pinnacle for them. Like, that game's kind of a masterpiece in comparison. It's not included on here, but I do kind of wonder if Hercules... Because there's a Hercules Genesis game, I think. I'm sort of curious if it ever got a Super Nintendo port. It seems like they basically released all the Genesis stuff on Super Nintendo, to my knowledge. Oh yeah, there's all sorts of classic Pokemon here. Oh man, lots of leaps of faith. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that Nintendo didn't want to use these characters in their, official games. Some really top-notch designs here. Like, I feel like Porygon should be reworked to look more like that guy. Whoa, that was quick. So if it's not clear, I'm not good at this game. I don't think I've ever really been any good at any of their platform games. The only one that's really playable, in my opinion, is Pokemon Gold, Silver, simply because there's a character that lets you cheat. Of course, this Pinecone Lizard is takes the cake in terms of designs. Oh, wow. It's better than A Bug's Life. What can I say? Beyond that, it's pretty horrible. I think we got an extra life. And we're back here. I don't know whose idea it was to make these games not very linear. There's a lot of branching paths in these platform games for some reason, but it just does not work, especially with how irritating the controls are. Oh man. Well, we played some unlicensed games. We played 41 minutes worth. Oh man. That's too much time. Let's do something cool. So the SD2SNES allows you to play a some really interesting games using this MSU1 chip, which was actually a fan-developed expansion chip for the Super Nintendo. This gives games the ability to have CD quality soundtracks, full motion video, and maybe some other stuff too. But its basic utility is streaming content. I think MSU stands for Media Streaming Unit. And so we have a selection of games here that make use of it. Let's begin with just a simple demonstration using Super Mario World. Beautiful. Honestly, incredible. The hearing Super Mario World with CD quality audio is kind of surreal. I can't wait for more people to get into this and utilities to be made so that we can more easily make our own MSU1 hacks, because I really love what people have done so far. And the cool part is that this isn't like a track playing over top of the original music. This is actually replacing the original music, and you can apply the same sort of effects to it as you would actual Super Nintendo music. An example of that is in Link to the Past, when you're on the map screen, the music gets slightly quieter, and the music will also get quieter with the reorchestrated versions. It's just really cool. See, I mean, it stops. It doesn't just start. Excuse me. It doesn't just keep playing. It really is actually part of the game. You sort of seen the same thing on N64, really. But there's a lot of neat applications for this, obviously. The Game Boy version of the Pokemon game? Was there a Game Boy version of that? There are, I don't know, those Pokemon platform games, just that whole entire platforming engine leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And you play something like this and it's just like perfection, essentially. It's hard to go back. But yeah, it just sounds amazing. It really makes for a fun way to play through a game that I've played through hundreds of times, probably. Super Mario World. Being able to hear it now with a amazing soundtrack is... I mean, the game already has a great soundtrack, but just hearing these remixes with such a high fidelity, it's pretty cool. No, Yoshi. No, me. Well, you get the idea. So that's the intro to it. Let's take a look at something that uses the MSU a bit more interestingly. And for that, I'll do Link to the Past. And I have many thoughts about this as we go through it, but it is cool at the very least. Beautiful. And I want to say that this music that's used here is sourced from an official Nintendo released Link to the Past soundtrack with fully orchestrated music, which makes it even cooler. So, this version of Link to the Past, by the way, my favorite Zelda game, I think by far, has full motion video cutscenes. The only other, Zelda games to do that I can think of were the CDI ones. And while these are just as unnecessary, they are technically a lot better. And just all around a lot better, probably.
Alright, Uncle.
I mean, the voice acting and stuff still isn't great. And this whole plot with the apple orchard, I don't think that's ever referenced anywhere in the game. I want to say this is based on the manga of Link to the Past, maybe?
This is a great start for the season.
But, I don't know, it's something. The more interesting use of this is with Chrono Trigger, where they were able to make like the PlayStation 1 version in the SNES. So it's got all the cutscenes from that version and the music, I assume, too. Not sure where this is sourced from. If this is from like a larger project that people were doing or what. I don't know. It's a bit weird.
Link, do you ever think about leaving the farm? You always wanted to become a knight of Hyrule. There is far more out there than just apples.
I don't think I'm needed for that. And I wouldn't want to carry around a heavy sword and shield all day and miss out on home-cooked meals like this.
Well said. Let's eat.
I also want to say that the animators changed multiple times throughout this cutscene, because Link's face here is very different than how it appeared in the previous shot. Looks pretty creepy, to be honest. Oh shoot, I skipped it. And then you're taken out of it, and Link has pink hair, and your uncle has blue hair. And forget all that business about the farm, because I don't think it's ever mentioned anywhere. But hey, someone was able to put a full motion video cutscene into Link to the Past. How about that? So we'll play a little Link to the Past, I guess. Looking at Link right now. Wonder if I should change the video settings next time. Seems a little bit skinny. A little bit skinnier than he should. if you're interested at all in this MSU1 thing, there are multiple emulators that support it, I think, at this point. I want to say BSNES and Higan. I think Higan was actually developed by the guy who created the MSU1. So, that's something. Yeah, they both support it to my knowledge, but here you can play it on actual or simulated hardware with the SD2SNES, which is pretty cool. For me, of course, though, the big draw is just the orchestrated, rearranged music, stuff like that. There is, however, one use that is probably the coolest. And here we have BS Zelda Ancient Stone Tablets. So, Ancient Stone Tablets. What's the deal with this game? This was a game that was broadcast via satellite in Japan, making use of a Super Nintendo add-on called the Satellaview, which was like this thing that you plugged into the bottom, and there's a special cartridge for it, and you're able to download games over satellite. One of the special things about these games is that they had orchestrated audio, fully orchestrated soundtrack, and dialogue that was broadcast live to go with the game. I selected the girl character, okay. So, as we'll hear shortly, you had amazing voice acting. In the original broadcast, there'd be a person who would read off what the deal was, what you had to do, where you should go, timed events that were happening. Here we have a dubbed version, essentially, making use of the original soundtrack too, because as I said, that music actually ended up on a CD, that Link to the Past music. So this is like a perfect English recreation of the Ancient Stone Tablets BSX Zelda experience. And it's quite cool, and it's something that I'll be talking about more in the future. This is basically a sequel to Link to the Past that came out many years before Link Between Worlds, and in some respects is a little bit better, I want to say. It's a very charming game with a lot of weird elements to it. And some interesting Zelda sprite work that you don't see anywhere else. So I think that's about it. This one's really interesting and it has a lot of full motion video use, but it's based on Conker's Bad Fur Day, which I'm not the biggest fan of. This seems kind of obnoxious. But there's definitely some neat stuff here. There's even a MSU1 hack of Super SpongeBob Kart. That classic game. But yeah, you can use it for all sorts of stuff, and it's still in its infancy as far as I can tell. But I look forward to seeing what people do with it moving forward. Let's take a look at one more. How about this Donkey Kong Country one? Beautiful. It's just so cool hearing the Super Nintendo produce this kind of sound. And, you know, it's not like it was a slouch by any means. I think the SNES already had very good audio capabilities, especially in comparison to its competition, but I mean, this is just a whole nother step above it. It does seem like there's some limitations in the MSU1 version of Super Mario World, for example. You kind of miss out on some of the music from the original. In particular, there's this thing about the special world where if you wait around on the overworld map for long enough, it starts playing the original Super Mario World music. Doesn't do that in the MSU1 version. I'm guessing because of the nature of the streaming audio. So there's some limitations here, but on the whole, I'm very impressed. I don't know, I think it's safe to say that I'll be playing at least a couple games again using this MSU1 thing. Like a couple more rounds of this. And like I said, you can do this on an emulator, but there's something sort of special about doing it in a hardware environment. It kind of, you know, it brings forth the images of that canceled Nintendo PlayStation. The idea that, you know, this is kind of like what we might have gotten if there was ever an actual CD add-on for the SNES. Which I want to say is kind of part of the conceit behind this. Darn. So that's MSU1 games. How about some homebrew stuff? Classic Kong Complete. Now, this is one that I've seen all over the internet. When people say Super Nintendo homebrew, not much later you're going to hear about Classic Kong. Just a port of Donkey Kong, but a fairly good one from what I can tell. It's a shame, really, that there aren't more homebrews for the Super Nintendo. The NES is really the platform of choice for a lot of people, it seems. Which is, you know, going to be kind of interesting in the coming months as that NES Maker thing past, you know, its Kickstarter ended and they made a ton of money off of it. So we're going to see the market pretty much flooded with NES homebrews, assuming that the software works as well as they are saying it will. We'll just see, though. As much as I like the idea of being able to easily create my own NES games, darn, that kind of user-generated content can lead to a lot of less than stellar results. I mean, just look at something like Mario Maker. I think Mario Maker is a great idea, but 95% of the levels on there are garbage, including the ones that I made for Mario Maker, so... Darn. I misjudged that a little bit. It's pretty close. And in my mind, this is the perfect way to play homebrews because people charge a ridiculous amount of money for repros of homebrew games. I really could not see myself paying for a cartridge of Classic Con here. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, I'm still playing it, but like $30 for this? Ugh. this is a much better environment in my opinion with a flash cart. There we go. We beat it. We beat Classic Kong. And then it starts over. We also got some hacks on here, including a ton of Super Mario World hacks. Some of them don't actually work, and that's a little bit disappointing because the whole idea behind this set was that they're all supposed to be compatible. Not the case, it seems, but let's play Learn to Kaizo. Hopefully this one should work. It's a more basic Mario World hack, as far as I can tell. And I've played a fair amount of this one in the past. Got pretty far in it before my hand started bleeding. I'm clearly not cut out for playing high-level Mario. But if you want to try it, I definitely recommend it. It's basically an entire tutorial, is all the game is. With each level highlighting a different trick in Kaizo games. So basically, it's the first ever tutorial that's actually sort of fun. And you kind of also get to learn a little bit about what the deal with Mario World is. Sort of how the mechanics of the characters and everything works. Which I find personally kind of interesting. Maybe we'll play up to the first castle or something, that'd be kind of fun. How do you do this again? You need to hold the jump button and run. Didn't work. I guess I probably want to avoid him. There we go. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is the famous bullet bill trick, right? Ah, shoot. I'm really bad at this one. This is like a essential like Kaizo trick is doing the bullet bills correct. I feel like it'd probably be easier in a newer Mario game. Ah, so close. So tough. That's what makes this hack addictive, though, is that you kind of want to see yourself improve. And you can instantly teleport back here, give it another shot. Ah. There we go. It really starts to give you an appreciation for the creativity behind some of those ridiculous, difficult ROM hacks. Oh, this thing. Does it suggest I do this? Wait until the lava lotus shoots, and spin jump on it, and hold the spin jump button. I want to say you have to do it like, yeah, like when the fire, well, because it spits out new ones pretty quick. There we go. Cool. So yeah, you can kind of make it have some odd behavior by using that. Play a little bit more of this one. Shoot. Thought I was doing a pretty good job there too. Ah. Alright. Well, it's interesting though, as you could tell. What else? I mean, you got translations here too. And I mentioned some previously, like I wanted to look at that JoJo game. That'll probably be a whole stream or two. For now, I want to look at, where was it? There's one that I played that was strangely really fun. It is like, something Gusan Uyoyo? It's called something like that. It is a strangely incredible. Yeah, here we go. Super Gusan Uyoyo 2. With a name like that, you might be like, what? It's weird. It's very weird. But it's pretty good too. Let's do easy. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna let this intro play. Alright, so basically, okay, can I restart this? Not too late. Alright, so I just want to say this will probably be the last of what I'm calling my variety streams. After today's stream, I think I'm going to try and do some sort of complete playthrough. That being said, what's up with this game? The idea is you got this guy, I think its name is Goosen, and you want to get it to the exit by moving these blocks around Tetris style. So it's kind of like a weird action Tetris puzzle thing. It's really interesting. So we'll play a little bit of it here. He can only move... Oh shoot, I killed him. Not good. Not good when you do that. Alright. So there's a few rules. One of the big ones is don't drop things on the goosen. You can push him with the blocks though. Kind of motivate him to move faster. You can get him to actually stand on a moving block. There's quite a lot of opportunities to make use of the game's mechanics. Gotta kill these enemies. You can even have him actually stand on top of the bombs if you need to, which is interesting. Yeah, you can scare him and that'll make him go faster. Sometimes. I think it depends on the exact scenario that you're in, but yeah. It's just a really fun, pretty addictive puzzler. And there's also multiple exits that you can find in each level. Well, in some levels, anyway. I'll probably see some coming up here pretty soon. And of course, the harder the exit, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Darn. Hey, it worked! That was pretty tricky. But I think if you get the harder exits, you get to maybe move forward a couple stages or something. I'll just skip the story stuff. Oh shoot. Thing killed Goosen. There we go. I don't know what it means when he starts bringing other characters along. I'm just assuming that's extra points you get. I haven't worked out all the details yet. Come on. Requires you to be fast on your fingers, otherwise you're gonna really mess yourself up. This level in particular showcases how that can happen. Where you gotta do this more of a kind of direct vertical build type thing. There's a Game Center CX episode on, I want to say, the first game, which I don't think is included on here for whatever reason. I don't know why. If it's as good as this one, then I think it should be a pretty fun game. There we go. For some reason that hamburger was able to withstand a bomb pretty nicely. So yeah, next stream I think that we might we'll either start on that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game, or we'll play more Pokemon. That's what I'm gonna say for now. Oh shoot, Goosen Yidingus. It's a game of high strategy, and it's also pretty ridiculous. I just need to figure out how to build a bridge over. Oh, here's one of those other exits, like I was saying. Okay, wait, I think I can pull this off. All it's giving me is bombs. See, look at that. That's like a fascinating gameplay mechanic. Being able to actually ride the bomb across a gap. I'm surprised someone hasn't made a Android style game based on this, because it seems really well suited for that sort of environment. It'd also be better than like 95% of the garbage that's on Google Store or whatever. Luckily, it seems like Goosen's pretty good at taking bombs to the face and large falls. That's the quality of Goosen. There we go. It's a game that really gets you thinking in a way that I don't think really any other puzzle game does, because it's got this moving character element. Makes you have to think sort of in real time. Which is it's not very true of a lot of other puzzle games, I want to say. You don't want to crush him though. Okay, what else do we got? Oh, this is kind of neat. You can play some of the Super Nintendo games that were actually in the arcades. So, yeah, we got the Super System version of Mario World, for example. Basically the same game, just with a level select. There's really not too many like overt differences. You know what? I just forgot something that we needed to play from the unlicensed section. How could I forget about Super Noah's Ark 3D? Game that was made sort of infamously because it was pissed at Nintendo for how they handled the port of Wolfenstein, right? So they gave Wisdom Tree the source code for Wolfenstein so that they could make this piece of trash, I guess to get back at Nintendo. Hey Nintendo, because of you, the version of Wolfenstein on Super Nintendo is garbage. To show you, we're gonna bring this other garbage game into existence. I mean, I guess they weren't like directly responsible for this, but still. I don't know what the statement was, other than the fact that Nintendo didn't really much care for Wisdom Tree. If you've never played this game before, like the premise is that there's a bunch of goats that are really angry at you, and they have this ability to kick you from across the room and it deals damage. There's been multiple versions of it too, and it got a re-release pretty recently from Pico Interactive, who now owns the Wisdom Tree brand. Wow. Oh, that's like your melee attack. And Noah died. Tragic. It's not good. It's actually, might as well, since we can. Let's compare it to the actual release of Wolfenstein. Assuming it is compatible with this. It's kind of a neat effect. I remember playing through the entire Game Boy Advance version. Which was pretty good. Well, already it looks better than Noah's Ark 3D. I think it's just because the contrast is better. Control-wise, it plays identical. I want to say it's a bit easier. Nazis are pretty bad at using their guns. Yeah, but if I recall correctly, the controversy, more than anything, was that id was angry that Nintendo didn't want like references to Nazis in their version of Wolfenstein. That made id kind of angry. So they turned it into a game about murderous goats. The ultimate revenge. I haven't really played Doom on Super Nintendo, so I don't know how that stacks up to this in terms of like first-person shooters on the system. Though I hear it's pretty bad. This isn't great by any means, but we can't look at Doom anyway because it uses the Super FX chip, which is not supported by the SD2SNES at this time anyway. I don't know. This is a lot more playable because you can kind of you have a better sense of where you are because not everything looks exactly the same. Hey, I did it. Look at that. Far more playable. It's still not great. But, yeah. What else do we got in hacks? Bastard Onkoku no Hakai Shin Unbastard. Magic easy spells. Well, that's something. Oh, here's those weird NES ports. I guess we could probably take a look at one real quick. They got that Anthrax thing. I'm curious to know what the story is behind this, because I have no clue, honestly. No sound effects, slightly glitchy, but it's very clearly the NES version of Burger Time, but running on a Super Nintendo. Because why not? I guess. But I did look up, well, I googled it anyway, to try and figure out what the origin was, because it seems like kind of an interesting thing. NES games on Super Nintendo. Was not able to figure it out. And it looks like the menu doesn't work. It's a second power down. Get some test software here, which is actually a little bit more interesting than you might expect. Go down to the character test here, which shows off some pre-release Super Mario World graphics from pretty early in development. So if you could see there for a second, he had the Tanuki suit on. Kind of fascinating. There's some more early Mario World stuff that was mostly unused. Look at all these amazing effects that the Super Nintendo can pull off. Incredible. Look for stars. Mode 7. What else we got? Betas and prototypes. I haven't really looked through here that much. I haven't really seen anything that jumped out at me. Contra 4: The Alien Wars. Huh. The Flintstones. Genocide 2. Huh. I just don't know. Like, well, maybe The Lion King. I do like The Lion King. Seems to be going a little fast. Okay. Interesting. I don't remember the Lion King game starting off like that. Oh, this must be pretty early into development. Well, that's fun. The Lion King is a surprisingly very good game. I love that. Oh. Hi, Simba. I'm playing the title screen, apparently. I don't even know if that music clip is in the final game. Let's try again. No sound effects, I'm guessing. The way that he's represented here sort of reminds me of the way he looks in some of the NES bootlegs. I also want to say that maybe he controls a little bit nicer here than in the final game. Oh, I got stuck. How does that compare to the final release? Totally different title screen. I kind of like the other one a little bit better, to be honest. I really like that sun shimmer effect stuff. Alright. Got half an hour to mess around with some more things. There's just so much to do, so much to see. Like 10 different versions of Street Fighter 2. Super Street Fighter 2 Fight Again. That's a nice title screen. Any new characters? Guess not. I'm guessing whatever the changes are probably so minuscule that I wouldn't be able to notice them as someone who's not really that well versed in Street Fighter. Is being able to hover? Is that a new thing? Surprisingly difficult to pull off specials. Huh. There's some translations on here. I guess we did already look at one, didn't we? Oh well, let's look at another one. How about one that I've always kind of been interested in? Super Back to the Future Part 2. Invictus. I was always interested in this because of the Super Star Wars games, which I'm a huge fan of, and the way that the title screen was kind of made me think that maybe it was related to the Super Star Wars games, but I don't think so. Hi there, welcome to the stream. Oh, there's a lesson mode. Okay. I guess this must be sort of a complex 2D platformer. Oh god. Marty's looking interesting. The background reminds me of Pac-Land a little bit, which is not something I ever thought I'd say about the Back to the Future game. And this is one of the more expensive Super Nintendo games, or Super Famicom to be more specific. So far I really don't get it. Yep, that's my thing. I read a lot of pirate games. Earlier we were playing quite a few Super Nintendo pirates. Not the most interesting stuff. Which is why my bread and butter, so to speak, is NES bootleg reviews. The music's pretty good. Sounds like Back to the Future. Don't really know what I'm doing yet, though. Okay, Five Nights at Freddy's. Is there an NES version of it? Yeah, I don't know. Well, let me rephrase that. I think definitely probably not. Unless some weird bootleg thing comes along that interests me. Yeah, it's a PC game. I mean, I know of Five Nights at Freddy's. I know it's popular. It doesn't seem like my cup of tea, from what I can tell. Maybe in like a 3 or 5 years, after no one even remembers it, then maybe I can talk about it. Why is this game $80? What the heck? It's like a slow, awkward Sonic the Hedgehog starring a big-headed Michael J. Fox. They're still making them? I gotta be totally honest, I don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's aside from what either my friends have told me or I've learned just from general cultural osmosis. I actually thought I had read an article that said that he stopped making them because there was some sort of debacle with an RPG he made based on it that was like a bunch of garbage, and it made everyone upset. Well, this game is definitely something. I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan. What other translations are there? There's Clock Tower, but that'd probably be something for a longer stream. JoJo's is for some other time. How about this one? Mega Man and Bass. Whoa. Oh, okay. So this one's kind of a maligned entry in the series, as I understand it. Let's see if it is worthy of the criticism it gets. Sailor Moon. I want to say that's one of the ones that doesn't work with the SD2SNES. Let's take a look. Here are the special chip games. These are the games that do not currently work. And there's a Sailor Moon game in here. And the Super FX stuff. Dragon Ball Z game. I don't know what that is. Shigesato Itoi's Bass Fishing, which I have an actual cartridge of. It's kind of good. Kirby Superstar. Yeah, SA1 chip games. I mean, it's substantial, the number of games that don't work, but really, Street Fighter Alpha 2 doesn't even work. That's honestly surprising. But if a flash cart could play it all, then what would be the fun of collecting, you know? So, And the cool thing about the SD to SNES is that you can actually update the firmware, so eventually more games might be supported, which is what I look forward to. But in terms of on here, there are a few Sailor Moon games. Are any of these good? Sailor Moon R. I don't know anything about Sailor Moon either. I guess I'll play one since you brought it up. We'll play a Sailor Moon game. I can just be utterly confused. It seemed like everyone had finally gained a measure of peace for a while. Until Chibi-Usa came and fell from the sky right onto Usagi's head. Mode 7. She used some kind of strange hypnotism on my family and convinced them that she was my cousin. Is this what Sailor Moon's about? More difficult stuff. Okay. Before that, the so-called Black Moon UFO appeared and targeted the Silver Crystal of Illusion. Oh boy. It's only a matter of time before they attack again. Tuxedo Mask and I. No, Mamoru, my love, how are we going to do this? And for interfering with Maiden's love and all, on behalf of the moon, I will completely punish you. Well, now I understand. Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon R. Translated in 2002? Interesting. So this is an early translation. I don't know. Who's the best? Are these the same character here? Just with different hairstyles? I'll be this one. Excuse me? Whoa! Amazing. Yes. The graphics are kind of nice. I don't know about the game. Whoa! I don't know about this attack that she does. it's kind of silly. Oh, there we go. That was kind of cool. I just picked the worst. Leave it to me. There's no such thing as a bad character, only bad players, Link. I'm gonna show everybody that Sailor Diamond, or whichever one this is. I guess they're named after planets, right? Sailor Saturn. I'm gonna show that she's the best character, actually. I guess this is kind of like that, in a very roundabout way, like that Power Rangers game that I played a lot as a kid. It was also a side-scrolling beat-em-up based on a Japanese property. Kind of had similar looking enemies in it. I think these characters look kind of like putties. Sailor Jupiter. Didn't I pick the green one? I mean, I gotta say that not a huge fan of the this character's attack. Well, I mean, it's not bad. Maybe I'd like it more if I picked a better character. I guess we can always see what the other character's like real quick. Well, this is the character I picked, wasn't it? Huh. Oh well. I also have Super Sailor, or Sailor Moon Super S Floating Panic. Whoa! Super Sailor Moon, real name, Serena Tsukino. Oh, it's a puzzle game. A puzzle game I don't fully understand. Enough of that one. I didn't get that. And I'm not about to try and figure it out. Dark Law, Meaning of Death. Aeon Genesis. They did something else that I played recently. Can't think of what though. Turbo File. Two nations shared our world. It was the year 69-6 by the calendar of Layfall. King Reynard governed the kingdom of Layfall, while King Daruk reigned in northern Amugnan. Their combined power maintained the peace. All too soon, however, catastrophe struck in the north. Okay. Let's just get into the game. Body to inhabit. This is an RPG. I gotta assign some bonus points. I'm gonna have the smartest character. Everyone knows that intellect is the best stat you can upgrade. Oh, I gotta make other guys too. This guy's got great aim. Just want to see what the gameplay is real quick. Well, the graphics look nice. This appears to be an old temple. I guess so. No sign of any life, man or beast. You know, the controls aren't the best. You can't move diagonally at all. What's this? Some kind of stone tablet? There's no inscription carved into it. Oh, there's an inscription. Oh, but I'm not going to read it, I guess. Oh, wait, yes. May eternal reft be guaranteed unto ye. Fowl of Sophia Reynard. Be darkness sea of his world of strife, Sophia. I assume this is some kind of accent. She sleeps peacefully at the temple. Super intelligence? Did I say at some point that I was super intelligent? Well, I don't know. It does seem interesting though, whatever it is. The graphical style is nice. Don't fully understand what the deal is. Oh, my character, I get it. I get the picture. How about a Selbrid? Tommy. Whoa! The 16th, a Celebrid, starting July 7th of regulations. Oh, okay. Silver Mare. Silver Chariot. So is this a racing game where you get to be a mech with a gun? Because that sounds awesome. Whoa, dude. What is this? Is that a full motion video? That's what it feels like, honestly. Okay, up jumps. I don't know, maybe it's just a weird animated background. It like gives the impression of a full motion video. In reality, it's just completely separate from anything that's going on. How disappointing. I was really hoping for this to be F-Zero with guns. When in fact, you're just kind of stationary. And they're doing this, like, this really poor job of giving the illusion that you're going down this pipe. That was the most disappointing thing yet. Ball bullet gun. Survival game simulation. Okay. Here we go. Immix. Like this guy's walk. Let's get right into it. Ball bullet survival game simulation gun. Cleburne Rogue. Will be this one. So I guess we're assembling the team now. Anderson. JJ. Why not? Trap. Leaf. And put another defender in there. Bernie Sanders. Alright. Let's do this. We gotta select another guy to come with us, I guess. Let's bring Bernie. Enemy team Little Apple. Don't leave a single man standing. Here we go. I do not see the enemy team. Getting a sort of standard like Fire Emblem type situation from this. Just any kind of tactical RPG, I guess. So I don't get to see where they are. They hit me though. Yeah, hit from the front 4 times. Enemy, I can't sense. Well, huh. Bernie's all alone now. Oh, wait, will I even be able to... Oh, there's the guy. I don't fully understand this game. Oh, well, look at that. Okay, well, thanks for joining me for this stream of the SD2SNES. It's pretty fun. The real fun's gonna start when we actually start playing through some full games. So, we'll do that next time. See you guys later.